Hi, I'm Anthony from the Basement Reef, and welcome once again to our channel. If this is your first time tuning in, we're a retail aquatic pet store and houseplant shop located in Columbia, Missouri, and this is the channel where we showcase all sorts of things related to the aquatic side of our business. Today, I'm hanging out at home, and that's because this is the first video in a brand new series for our channel called The Basement Reef at Home. I realized that I have a lot of cool stuff going on at home as well as the store, and that we could produce more video content if I showcase what I'm up to at home as well. So today, I'm going to show you all about this 20-gallon cube next to me. I recently set this up, and I'm excited to talk about it. So, let's get to it. To begin with, let's go over the big picture of the tank. As far as the actual tank itself, we have a JBJ 20-gallon all-in-one cube. These are some of my favorite cubes, and I highly recommend them. It's lit by a Kessel A360 on a timer, and as far as the tank's contents, this is a bit of a new project for me. It's some stuff I had going for a while in an older tank that was a bit ignored and needed a new home. And this is a really nice tank, so we put it all together in here with some new goals in mind, and we'll be using this video to establish those. As far as where this tank sits in my house, it's in the corner of my main living space, so we can get a clear view of it at all times. It's next to another tank that'll have its own video in the future, but for now, we're focusing on this one. Before we get to our goals and future plans with this tank, I'll introduce you to the fish population. First, we have this mated pair of lightning mochaccino clowns from Sustainable Aquatics. These are one of my favorite clown morphs, and they're not that common, so very fun fish to have around. Here, we have a little flame hawkfish. This is a bit of a small tank for him, but he gets along in here, and if I see any problems, I'll be quick to throw him in a larger tank. And then for our final fish, we have a 6-line wrasse for some pest control. Alright, so back to those goals. First and foremost, with the livestock in this tank, I'd like to feature primarily LPS coral that I believe to be underappreciated in the hobby. And with that, I'm going to be calling this tank the Oddball LPS Cube from here on out. That's what it'll be called in the video title and on all future videos on this tank. The second major point I'd like to focus on with this tank is leaning heavily into what I call the daylight look, that being the wider end of the spectrum as opposed to blue. The hobby at large seems to prefer blue right now, and a lot of my tanks at the store are heavy on the blue spectrum, so this will be a nice change of pace. The third goal, similar to goal number 2, is to feature uncommon colors. You see a ton of screaming bright neon colors in people's tanks nowadays, but I want to feature some that are a little less common. Some pinks, lavenders, more pastel tones, grays and blues, just things that you don't see in all of the popular corals at the moment. Goal number 4 is to turbocharge photosynthesis. And what I mean by that is maximizing the energy uptake of these corals so that they can grow as fast as possible. This will be honestly a whole video on its own, but it's an important goal to keep in mind from the start. And finally, for goal number 5, clockwork maintenance. Consistency is key with the reef tank, and that starts with consistency in my actions. For me, that's going to be making sure that I work on this tank every Sunday while I watch football. At least a 5-gallon water change, as well as addressing any other chore that this tank might need at the time. Goals 1 through 3 are easily addressed with our coral selection, and I think I'm off to a good start. My first coral is this blue encrusting Hydnophora. Lots of people are familiar with the branching form of Hydnophoras, but less common are these encrusting ones, and they have way bushier tentacles. I'm not sure that it's an LPS, but it looks and behaves like one, so it fits this tank for me. Next up, we have this blue Lithophyllon, or litho for short. Lithos are the least common type of chalice coral, and this one being blue makes it an especially good fit for this tank. After that, we have this green and blue Goniastria that I think definitely fits our theme of featuring uncommon colors in this reef. The green is not the common bright neon green that you see in lots of other corals, but more of a pea green, and this ice blue color is not one that I've seen in many, if any other LPS corals at all. Very cool coral that I'm excited to grow out, and definitely fits the theme of this tank. Here we have a coral that I haven't even been able to identify. It has some superficial similarities to the Goniastria that we just looked at, but I don't think that's quite right. I've showed it to a few friends too, and nobody has quite been able to say. So if you can definitively identify this coral for me, please let me know in the comments. that would be great. It definitely fits the tank though, with its lavenders, pinks, and yellows. 3 uncommon colors, all in one coral. And for our final LPS coral for now, we have this bleeding heart style favia. It has a yellowish green and red, both uncommon colors, and the way that yellow bleeds out of the red centers is really unlike plenty of other favias that I've seen. This might actually be my favorite coral in the tank. It won't be all LPS corals though. I also have a few other things going on in here, like this little orange Ricordia that will actually be the beginning of a Ricordia garden as we add other colors, and this little colony of Polythoa grandis. I mentioned that this tank contains lots of things that I had in another tank before, and this is one of those. I've always liked these. One note of caution though, of all the corals that contain polytoxins, these are known to contain the highest concentration, so definitely use care when handling these guys. So where does that leave us as far as goals 4 and 5? Turbocharging the photosynthesis and clockwork maintenance. Well, those will be the next couple of videos in this series. Turbocharging photosynthesis will revolve around building a refugium for this tank, and I'll explain in that video exactly why building a refugium will be the thing to turbocharge the photosynthesis. And for clockwork maintenance, it'll be a video all about how I take care of this tank and how we're going to address some persistent issues that we've had with it, such as some hair algae and some recession that was going on one of the other LPS corals that was in the previous incarnation of this tank. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Both of those things would do a ton to help us grow. We had a lot of fun making this, and hopefully this Basement Reef at Home series will be a great new addition to our channel.